The January transfer window is notoriously a difficult transfer window for Premier League clubs. Considering it's in the middle of the season, clubs are often reluctant to let players go or even bring new players in, fearing that it may disrupt the team's rhythm. This means that January is a time when Premier League clubs tend to overspend on players in order to guarantee their signature. As a result, many January signings end up being flops. Check out our last video where we took a look at the 10 worst January transfers in the last decade. But there have been a few gems, and so in this video we will create a combined 11 for the best winter transfers in Premier League history. But before we get started, please don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel. Goalkeeper, Dubravka. Very few goalkeepers seem to move during the January transfer window, so it wasn't easy finding a goalkeeper for this team. But Martin Dubravka joined Newcastle United from Sparta Prague on an initial loan deal in January 2018. The Slovakian international did enough to earn a permanent move to St James Park for just £4 million and won their Player of the Season award in the 19/20 season. Since the Saudi takeover, he's lost his place to Nick Pope, but he proved to be a very important player between the sticks during a difficult time for the club when they were fighting relegation. Right back, Seamus Coleman. Coleman was snapped up by David Moyes for just £60,000 all the way back in January 2009. And 15 years on, he's still at the club, having made over 350 Premier League appearances. Coleman has played under 9 different managers at the club, yet been a starter for all of them and being captain under the last 4. This season he's only made 2 Premier League appearances, having picked up a knee injury in November. And being that he is 35, he will probably retire at Everton and go down as one of their greatest ever players. Centre-back, Virgil van Dijk. It's only been a few years, but Van Dijk is easily one of the best January signings in Premier League history, and dare I say perhaps the greatest. Following his £75 million move to Anfield in early 2018, the centre-back has guided the Reds to Champions League glory in 2019, before inspiring them to a first ever Premier League title in 2020. He missed the majority of the 20/21 campaign due to an ACL injury, and many fans feared he may never get back to his best. And for a while he struggled, especially last season as Liverpool finished outside the top 4. However, this season his Liverpool side is back at the top of the table, and Van Dijk at 32 years old looks as good as he's ever looked. And some may even argue he's the greatest Premier League centre-back of all time. Centre-back, Nemanja Vidic. Some who may disagree with Van Dijk being the greatest centre-back of all time are Manchester United fans, as they signed Serbian centre-back Nemanja Vidic from Spartak Moscow for just £7.5 million in January 2006. Despite a shaky start, Vidic went on to form arguably the Premier League's best ever defensive partnership with Rio Ferdinand. With Manchester United, he went on to win 5 Premier League titles and 1 Champions League, and will be remembered as one of the best defenders in the history of the Premier League. Left back, Patrice Evra. Man United's January 2006 window could possibly be the greatest January transfer window for any club, as that's when they also signed left-back Patrice Evra. He transferred from Monaco to Manchester United in January 2006 for £5.5 million. Just like Vidic, he too struggled at the start of his United career and was once subbed off at half-time in a Manchester derby, but he went on to win 5 Premier League trophies and 1 Champions League title in the space of 8 years. The former Manchester United club captain goes down in history as arguably the greatest left-back the Premier League has ever seen. Central midfield, Nemanja Matic. Matic signed for Chelsea for the second time in the 2014 January transfer window, having first left the club as part of the deal that saw David Luiz arrive at Stamford Bridge from Benfica 3 years previously. And the Serbian defensive midfielder wasted little time settling into the team and became a key player under Jose Mourinho. He played over 150 times across the following 3.5 seasons, while winning 2 Premier League titles, an FA Cup and a League Cup. Under Conte, he formed a solid midfield partnership with Kante, and once he left the club in 2017 for Manchester United, Chelsea struggled to replace him, as new signing Bakayoko wasn't anywhere near his level. Central midfield, Bruno Fernandes. Manchester United may have splashed out an initial £47 million to bring Bruno Fernandes to Old Trafford from Sporting Lisbon during the 2020 January transfer window, but he's proven to be worth the money. He hit the ground running straight away, as in his first half season at the club, he scored 8 goals and got 7 assists in just 14 appearances. Without him, Manchester United would not have secured their top 4 spot that campaign. In his first full season at the club, he did even better, scoring 28 goals and getting 17 assists in all competitions. And whilst Bruno hasn't quite hit those heights again, he's always been a consistent goal contributor, with 129 goal contributions in just 212 games for the club. He's also never injured, meaning Manchester United can always count on him. Centre attacking mid, Coutinho. When it's all said and done, Coutinho will be most remembered for his time at Liverpool. At the likes of Barcelona and Aston Villa, he's had a fairly forgettable time. but he's been one of Liverpool's best players in the Premier League era. He arrived on Merseyside in January 2013 for just £8 million from Inter Milan. The Brazilian forward spent 5.5 seasons at Anfield without winning a trophy, but did provide 54 goals and 45 assists in 201 games, before leaving for Barcelona in a huge £120 million transfer. What makes Coutinho an even better signing for Liverpool is that his huge transfer fee allowed Liverpool to reinvest into Van Dijk and Alisson, who ultimately helped them win the Champions League and Premier League. Right wing, Theo Walcott. There's not been a huge amount of right wingers signed in January, so Theo Walcott was the best out of a relatively underwhelming bunch. Signed by Arsene Wenger just 6 months after breaking into the Southampton first team, as a 16-year-old winger, Walcott spent 12.5 years of his career at Arsenal, scoring 108 goals in just 400 games and winning 3 FA Cups. He may not have been a world beater, but Walcott was criminally underrated in his career and a huge bargain given what he delivered. Striker, Luis Suarez. Uruguayan striker Luis Suarez was transferred from Ajax to Liverpool for £22.8 million in January 2011. In his first season at Anfield, he scored 4 goals in 13 games, elevating Liverpool 6 places in the Premier League table. But the best was yet to come. In 2014, he nearly led the club to their first Premier League title since 1990, scoring 31 goals in just 33 league games. He made the PFA Team of the Year in both his 4 seasons at the club, before making a £65 million move to Barcelona. With over 500 career goals to his name, he goes down as one of the greatest strikers of his generation. Left wing, Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang. A club record signing at the time, Aubameyang soon repaid the faith with 10 goals in 13 games in his first half season. The striker then followed up by sharing the Premier League Golden Boot in his first full campaign, before captaining the side to a victory in the 2019/20 FA Cup final, scoring twice against Chelsea. He ultimately left the club in February 2022 after disciplinary issues soured his relationship with manager Mikel Arteta, but at least he did so after scoring an impressive 92 goals in 163 games for the club. And that was it for the best Premier League winter transfer combined 11. But what do you guys think? Are there any other winter signings who deserve to be mentioned in this video? Comment it all down below, and please don't forget to like and share the video and subscribe to the channel.